This morning we have a couple lovely young ladies with us this morning who are going to lead us in song. Eleanor Ferris and Miss Chris Neal. We're so glad for both of them today to step up and do some amazing things.
You will do amazing. an amazing morning starting out already. I am Patty Yoon. I'll be your platform leader today. Welcome, welcome. We have music by Huron Bro with special music by Eleanor Ferris and Chris Neal. Let's give them a hand again. That was awesome. So wonderful. Back in video, we have Jessica. On sound, we have Joaquin. Our meditation and affirmations by Eleanor Ferris. Yes? Yay! And our message by Art Handy. Let's give them all a hand. Oh. We are so blessed. Our greatest desire is that you are blessed by the music, the message, the meditation. And you, being here in the sanctuary and at home, are a blessing to us. Once again, the power of the month is the power of zeal. And that is the ability to be passionate, to be enthusiastic, as well as the inspiration for ourselves to motivate oneself. So with that power of zeal, let's say our mission statement together. Inspiring spiritual transformation as a vibrant, diverse, and inclusive community. And with that same power of zeal, let's say our statement of being together. There is only one presence and one power in my life and in the universe, God the good, omnipotent. Once again, we want to welcome everyone who is here today. If you're here for the very first time, we especially want to welcome you here or at home. Please give us a call and email to contact us. If you're here in the sanctuary, you can connect with Art Handy or Sam Jones. We would love for you to be involved in our community. How wonderful. Unity is a worldwide ministry dedicated to the ongoing awareness of the Spirit within all. We invite you to consider our teachings. Wherever you may be on your spiritual journey, if they fit into your life, work with your thoughts and your feelings and your beliefs. Just keep what works for you and gently release the rest. We will now bless everyone who is watching. We love you. We bless you. We appreciate you. And we behold the Christ as you, just as you are.
Good morning, everyone. We'll move into a quick space of prayer. However, before we do, I would like for us to prayerfully consider a few individuals who are a part of our spiritual community. Please continue to hold Kelsey Webb and her family in your prayers for the recent transition of her grandmother, LaWanna Mae Webb. In addition, we also want to hold our own beloved Reverend Dr. Paul Hasselbeck in our prayers. Earlier this week, he took a pretty bad fall, which resulted in an injury to his femur, which resulted in a hip replacement surgery. And so now he's recovering and beginning to go through therapy. So we want to make sure that we hold Reverend Dr. Paul in our thoughts and our prayers. And also, I just learned this morning about our friend Frank Mull. His wife, Jackie Mull, had a stroke, and she's currently in the hospital. I have not talked with him yet. I plan to reach out to him pretty pronto after this service is over. So please hold these individuals in your thoughts and in your prayers. So I invite you all, I invite all of us to really settle ourselves for just a moment and open and avail ourselves to divine mind, God the good, this sweet, wondrous presence is present where we are, present as we are. Yes, each and every one of us are divine. Each and every one of us are that Christ presence, that Christ nature. There is a unique aspect of the divine that outpictures and distills as you, as me. For we are uniquely human and wondrously divine. This awareness fills our cup. This awareness soothes and nurtures our souls. This awareness illumines our minds and opens our hearts and brings a smile to our face. And in this space of gratitude, we open to the love, wisdom, understanding, and beauty that flows forth from the divine. For Kelsey Webb and her family. For Frank Moe and his wife Jackie. For Reverend Dr. Paul Hasselbeck. We know the presence of love, wholeness, well-being, and comfort. And for all those in our spiritual community who have prayer requests said and unsaid, we know that same love, wholeness, well-being. Each and every person connected to this service today is blessed and divine. We are so grateful, and together we say, and so it is. Amen. Let the church say amen. Let the church say amen. God has spoken. Let the church say amen. Let the church say amen. The church say amen. So it is. Let the church say
Good morning, friends, and bless you and bless all. I'm so grateful to bring these a little bit of long affirmations, but you know I'm a little thinky. I love them, and we can take them to heart, word for word. So I'll say the affirmation, and then you can repeat it with me afterwards. Caveat: within unity, we declare a denial before we empower our affirmations. And a lot of times that gets forgotten, as though we just focus on the affirmations. But it is true in this physical experience for us to deny the power of anything to conquer our spirit. And so with the strength of friendship and love in this community, I renounce the falsehoods I imagine have influence over my steps. I am God. I renounce the falsehoods I imagine have influence over my steps. I am God. Activation of Christ's energy comes effortlessly in divine flow. I am God. Activation of Christ's energy comes effortlessly in divine flow. I am God. I commune within Source and know what God would do. I am God. I commune with Source and know what God would do. I am God. I allow grace when the motion to be chosen is none at all. I am God. I allow grace when the motion to be chosen is none at all. I am God. And I consciously use zeal with wisdom as I step forth in faith. I am God. I consciously use zeal with wisdom as I step forth in faith. I am God. Take your I am knowing, drop from your headspace to your heart, down through your roots with a straight spine and a soft belly. We will take 3 breaths. In this safe space, we can ask ourselves, how do I know the difference between right and wrong thinking or acting? Everything begins with thought. Every person has freedom to think as he pleases. Thinking controls all action and physical activity. And responsibility for thinking is something that each individual must assume sooner than later. If what you are thinking comes into form or action in a way to benefit everybody, it must be right or correct based on the divine principle of benevolence. And if what you think would injure, interfere, or hurt anyone else when it comes into form or action, we dismiss it as erroneous or incorrect. The only thing that is always right is the right, perfect action of divine mind. Divine mind always taking place through God's highest expression, humans. Therefore, link up your human phase of mind when the divine is calling, as it is always calling. Take a breath and listen to our affirmation as we close. I let the mind of God direct my thinking. I find myself doing the right thing at the right time, in the right way, governed by God. I am at peace always. I am God. And so it is.
Help me tread in the path of righteousness. Be my aid when doubt and fear oppress. I am putting all my trust in thee. Lead me, O God, lead me. Lead me, guide me along the way. For if you lead me, I cannot stray. Lord, let me walk each and every day in thee. Lead me, oh God, lead me. I am putting all my trust in thee. Lead me. Lead me. Lead me, oh Lord. Lead me. I am God all by myself. I don't need any help. I can handle things on my own. I am the first and the last. Whatever you need, just ask. For I am. Just stand still and know that I am God. Lead me, oh Lord, lead me.
Thank you, sir. So the talk title today is called Making the Magic Happen. Making the Magic Happen. Now, when you hear that word magic, what comes to mind? You might think of something mysterious or miraculous. Or maybe you might think of a magician. You know, magicians back in the day would have the hat, and they would have the magic wand, or they would have the deck of cards, and they would do little sleights of hand and do little illusionary tricks. And you might think of that as magic. You might think of that as magic. You know, deck of cards, pick a card, and I'll guess what the card is. And so they do some little things, or they might put it in the big top hat and wave the wand or whatever. And so Ace of Clubs, that's the card that you picked. Maybe we might think of that as being magic. Those of you who know me know that I have an owner. Talking about my little doggy, my little schnauzer doggy, Magic. That's his name, literally, Magic. He's adorable. I love him a lot. But he's not who I'm talking about today. I'm speaking about the magic of taking action. Yes, and I'm saying that action and taking action is magical, because taking action is one of the vehicles in which and through which that which is in the unseen expresses into the seen. Action is the vehicle through which and in which we create the kind of life that we want and create the kind of world that we want. So action, to me, has a very magical quality to it. So today, the invitation is to consider the importance of taking action. And not only consider the importance of taking action, but to understand that taking action is quite literally, a spiritual practice. Now, we all know about taking action. We took action to get here this morning. Or those of you who are at home, you took action to turn on your electronic device and get on the Facebook page or on the YouTube page to tune in. So you took those steps, you made those mouse clicks, and took that action to get you plugged in today. And for those of you who are here, you took the steps to maybe have breakfast this morning if you did, select a outfit to wear, you got in the car and you drove, and you made it here. And it's beautiful to see you. We take actions for all different kinds of reasons. We take actions based upon things that we need. You know, if we need to secure an income for a living, we'll do something to secure an income. If there's something that we greatly desire, we'll take those actions to bring about what it is that we desire. Sometimes we get a spirit of contribution and service, and we take actions not necessarily expecting an immediate return for ourselves, but the highest priority is to make the way smoother and easier and uplifting for somebody else. All kinds of reasons to take actions, all kinds of reasons to do the things that we do. And we regularly take action. There are some people who have what they call a bias for action. So when something comes up that needs to be done, these individuals that tend to have a bias for action, they need very little facts, very little legwork, and very little contemplation, just enough to take those beginning steps. Others of us, we need a little bit more rumination before we get going. And sometimes we might need a fire lit under us before we get to doing the things that we do. So all of us have an action orientation, per se. What motivates us to take action, how easy it is for us to take action. And of course, we all know when it's things that we like to do or desirable or bring pleasure, it's very easy to get up and go. But when it's something that is unpleasant or something that might be a little discomforting, some people can just jump right in. Others of us, our prayers might get a little longer. We might hope that somebody else does it. But ultimately what we realize is that we have to do it. So for whatever our motivations are for taking action in our lives, and for whatever it is in terms of how we are oriented in terms of taking action, there is always a place in consciousness in which and from which we take action. And so one of the invitations today is to spiritualize the whole process and make sure that we have open channels for divine wisdom and inspirations that will inform our consciousness in the actions that we take. And so that brings me to Unity's 5 basic principles. Connie Fillmore, the great-granddaughter of Unity co-founders Charles and Myrtle Fillmore, during an interview, she was once asked, basically, in essence, what is Unity all about? I mean, what is Unity? She wasn't asked exactly that way, but that was the gist of the question. So after she thought about it, she distilled, based upon her consciousness, what Unity is about in these 5 key ideas. These ideas, since the time that she uttered these ideas from her lips, they have been reformed and refined and shaped, and those ideas turned into what we understand now as Unity's 5 basic principles, and they're there on the monitor for all to see there. The first principle is God is all there is, and present everywhere. This is the force of love and wisdom that underlies all existence. Principle number 2, human beings are divine and at their core, and therefore inherently good. Principle 3, thoughts have creative power to determine events and attract experiences. Principle 4, prayer and meditation keep us aligned with the one great power in the universe. And principle number 5, which is highlighted, which kind of aligns with the talk today, it is not enough to understand spiritual teachings. We must live the truth that we know. When I think about that 5th unity principle, living the truth that we know, taking these spiritual teachings and taking spiritual insight and carrying it forth into action, I think about that in 2 ways relative to the totality of the 5 principles. Taking action is, number 1, practicing the first 4 principles and developing spiritual practices that increase our awareness and experience of the first 4 principles. Number 2, act on the guidance, the inspirations, the blessings, the understandings, the insights that come from the practice of the first 4 principles. That's living the truth that we know. So in other words, as I mature in spiritual practice and I begin to get a real inner realization that God is all there is, not because Art or Sam or Paul says it on Sunday, not because we read it in a book, but the inner realization that this is the truth and this is the truth in which my being is grounded. In other words, no one has to tell me that anymore because I have the inner realization and the awarenesses and consciousness that that is true. And in that, I begin to get a glimpse and a sense of my own divinity. Again, not because I read it in one of the classic Unity books. Maybe the classic Unity books sparked the idea, but as I pray and as I meditate and as I reflect on spiritual teachings and as I interact with others who are on the same path, it becomes an inner knowing that I begin to own in my consciousness. Then I begin to regulate my thoughts, my feelings, and my beliefs to build on that God consciousness and to build on that awareness. And I begin a robust prayer and meditation life so that these ideas become integrated into my being. What that ends up doing is that ends up opening the divine channels through which we can go, grow, and flow in God, meaning that we open ourselves up to the divine guidance, to divine wisdom. We begin to get clarity about who and what we are. I begin to understand who I am in God, and I begin to understand who God is in me, and I get that real visceral sense of spiritual consciousness. That's not just for an inner realization and an inner awareness and an inner building up of consciousness. As I build up a robust thought life, I begin to take on thoughts. I'm going to do just as Eleanor suggested because she's absolutely right. I'm going to begin to deny those thoughts that speak that speak less than my divinity, that are less than who I am, that are less than what is possible. And then I'm going to affirm who I am. And the reason why denials become before affirmations, because denials clear the space. They clear the consciousness for something to be built there. If I just deny and leave it at that, it makes it possible for those very error thoughts to come back and take root in the first place. So I deny, and then I affirm positive thoughts, positive beliefs, positive emotions. Now I'm consciousness building. So when this happened, my inner being comes alive. I become alive in spirit. I go from being a two-dimensional being to a three-dimensional being, meaning that my spiritual nature is active and alive. From this place, I want to take action. From this place, I want to take action. So going back to some of those earlier examples, if I have to work, or if I have to own a business, or if I have to do something to realize an income, it's not merely just realizing an income. I'm bringing my whole self to the party so that not only am I doing the activity that is helping me realize the income, I'm going to do it from a place of presence where I can connect with people, where I can tap into my creativity and use that for good and wonderful purposes. If I am going to serve, I'm not going to serve because it looks good. I'm not going to serve because it makes other people think that I'm a good person. I'm going to serve because this is a way that I can bring the presence of God into experience so that other people can be blessed by it. So now my action is not merely action that is driven by material or human factors. Now my action is taking place from a high state of consciousness, from a high state of God realization, from a high state of my spiritual nature and being grounded in who I am. That's the kind of action that this message is intended to inspire. Not just action for the sake of action, but action for the sake of enabling us to experience God in our minds, in our lives, and in our affairs. Does that make sense? So action is most definitely a spiritual practice because it is action that enables completion. Whatever it is that I'm building in consciousness, if I'm building a consciousness of love, for example, where I'm really building an inner realization of love, that inner realization will dissolve if I don't do something with it. If all it's going to do is cause me to have feel-goods within myself, but then I'm going to flip the bird to the person who cuts me off on the road, then that's not having an experience of love. Not doing that. I don't see a way to lovingly flip the bird to somebody. And if you do, let me know. I'd like to hear that story. Okay. Oh, so over here in the peanut gallery, they've discovered a way to do that. If I'm building a consciousness of love, I want to do loving things. I want to be lovable so that it magnifies my inner experience, and also it comes across in a way that blesses the people around me. I'm doing something with the consciousness that I am building. I'm doing something with the God awareness that is welling up inside of me. If I'm building up a consciousness of service, I want to be of service and to be of contribution and be a blessing to other people. I can wish about it all I want to. But if I don't take my butt down to the Lord's diner, or I don't gather some canned goods to serve to those that might be in need, or I don't go to a friend who is hurting and be present and listen and put my stuff to the side and be completely present to them, then the consciousness of service that is building doesn't get complete, and it leaves the room for it to fizzle and dissolve out. So action brings about that fullness. Action brings about that experience. It allows us to experience what it is that is welling up inside of us. It allows us to, quite literally, experience God, experience that love, experience that peace, experience that beauty, experience that understanding, experiencing that joy, experiencing that presence. We are uniquely human, and we are wondrously divine. How about we take some of that divinity that we are, intertwine it more with our humanity, and actually be it and live it? The world needs it, and not only does the world need it, the world needs it from you. Because only you can express it in the unique way in which you do. So that's why action is really, really important. And I got 2 snippets of scripture that really punctuate the invitation today that I'm talking about in terms of taking action. The first one comes from the book of James, chapter 2, verse 17. Kind of punctuates what I just talked about. Thus, also faith by itself, if it does not have works, is dead. Listen to the language that it says. Faith without works, it didn't say it was a bad thing. It didn't say it was immoral. It didn't say it was unadvisable. It said that faith without works is dead, meaning that it's ineffective and non-existent, and whatever faith consciousness that might be welling up inside, for however my perceiving powers of mind linked with the ability to shape substance is developing in my mind, however I am becoming grounded in an awareness of who I am, certainly everything starts in consciousness. But as that consciousness builds, as those thoughts, beliefs, and feelings build, if I don't do something with them, then they'll dissolve. So that's extremely, extremely important. And if we're going to do anything, let us do it from an awareness of who we are. I can do all things. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Through my Christ nature and my recognition and awareness and saying yes to it, I can do all things. So in other words, bring your high and holy self to the party. Don't leave that behind. You are uniquely human and wondrously divine, and bring it all to the party when you live your life. Bring it all to the party when you do the things you do. God is not present only in this building, but then when I go to the grocery store or when I go to the job, something other than God is happening there. God is present there because you are there. And because you are there, being that presence, acknowledge that presence and bring it into what we do. Bring it into how we interact with other people. Bring it into our presence there. So when you get to that place or to that space, don't just start grabbing things and get to work. Take a few deep breaths and become centered and really know that presence before you get started. And then bring that heightened state of awareness into what we do. Yes, there are factors and motivators in physicality that move us into what we do, but if we do those things from a God consciousness, then we open ourselves up for greater wisdom, greater understanding, so that not only do we do it well, and we do it right, and we do it in a way that has a real good impact on the environment around us and on people around us. That's the way to do it. That's the way to take action. Not action for the sake of action for the sake of expressing the wisdom and power of God. That is the invitation today. God bless you.
We are certainly blessed here at Unity of Wichita by the music, the message, the meditation, and by love. So if you are so moved today to give a gift of donation and offering, we invite you to do so. If you're in the sanctuary, you can leave your offering at the back plate or the front plate. If you're online, you can go to www.unityofwichita.org/donations or mail it directly to the church or bring it by during regular business hours. Whatever amount you're guided to give, we invite you just hold that in your heart. Visualize your electronic tithe, and let's say together our offering blessing. Divine love as me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I give, all that I receive, and I am grateful. Amen.
Good morning. Remember that if you are a PayPal user, you can search Unity of Wichita at office@unityofwichita.org. This week, we have some things going on. We have some things ending. One of the things that is ending is our Spirit Groups program. So this is the last week for it. Yeah, this session. Thank you. Not the whole program, just this session. This week, we are starting the Grief Recovery Handbook book study. So if you've been waiting for that, it's finally coming. So Tuesday from 1 to 3 is our Grief Recovery Handbook that's in person. And then in the evening at 6:30 to 8:30 will be on Zoom. Whichever one of those that you choose to do, because we'll be partnering with people, you won't be able to switch back and forth, just so you know. But I'm really excited about this group, and I think that we can support one another through a lot of processing that we need to do after the last couple of years, let alone just existing, right? So I'm excited about that. We also will be starting a crafting/quilting group. Yay! We have support for that. Oh, A Course in Miracles. I'm so sorry, you guys. I left my phone back there on the chair. So don't forget the Course in Miracles on Wednesdays at 10 a.m. and Fridays at 10 a.m. And then we will be starting a quilting and crafting group. In our e-blast, you'll see you can contact Chris Neal for that, or you can call the office. And this group, the idea is that this group of people will get together, be creative, create crafts, quilting. We have a sponsorship for a quilt top that's already been promised from another group within the community at large that creates quilts and donates them to kids in foster homes and in the greater community. So we've already got a sponsorship. Isn't that great? I think that's awesome. So if you are a quilter or a crafter, please get in touch with us. We have a little bit of seed money to get this going. And then in the summer, in this next summer, we'll have a craft fair here where we will be able to sell some of the things that you guys create and generate a little bit more support for Unity of Wichita. So it's very, very exciting. Thank you.
Very, very exciting stuff. Very exciting. You know what? As the song that was sung earlier, you all are amazing. Thank you so much for being here this morning. Thank you so much for your presence. For those watching online, thank you for your presence. You inspire us and every day, and we so appreciate you. Now we will move to our affirming our prayer of protection, and then we'll be led in the peace song by Mr. Ron Bro. So the prayer of protection is there on the monitor. I would invite you all to stand. Let us take a deep breath. And let's affirm from the deepest place within us. Here we go. The light of God surrounds us. I am the light. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love. The power of God protects us. I am the power. The presence of God watches over us. I am the presence. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.